through, and we talked about this a little bit in Crossroads last month, like is just all this transformation, all the really hard stuff that everyone has had to deal with, like really having to confront physical issues, relationship issues, financial issues. Like it's been very, very, very challenging. But if you are able to move through that and process it, there's a releasing, right? Uh, it's kind of like, it felt, for me, it's felt like just cleaning out all this gunk, all this like gunk that's been there for my whole life or lifetimes, that was kind of clogging up me from moving forward, or me from experiencing more positive feelings, experiencing more joy, being more present. So like having to have gone through stuff, and like it was not pleasant, trust me. I mean, like I've cried more, like it's not been pleasant. I know a lot of you have had very, very hard um times as well, but it's kind of like we need, again, like we need to empty out the crap so that you have more space for the good. And you know Brene Brown talks about the whole feeling emotions and stuff, like, so all of our addictions, basically any addiction that you have, is to avoid feeling. That's basically what, whether it's online shopping, or alcohol or drugs, or food is a big one. Workaholism, which is, kind of, that's that's one of the worst ones that I see in my coaching, because it's accepted, right? Everybody wants a really hard worker who works like their butt off, right? So, but it's gotten very imbalanced. That's the good thing about the millennials. They're actually, and younger, they will not do that. So I'm grateful to them for that. But anyway, so I think a lot of people over the past couple of years have finally been addressing some of the deeper root issues of what were causing those emotions, right? So if you had whatever addiction that you had to not feel, and then these past couple of years you actually like went in there and like addressed what the stuff was. So for me, it's codependency stuff, and really like have to like address it and deal with it, right? But then you release it, right? You have an understanding, you have some clarity, and again, physics, it creates space in you. It creates space. So then good stuff, you can feel more. So what I was saying before about Brene Brown, so it's like if you can't feel the bad, that means you can't feel the good. So if you're just eating your feelings because you don't want to feel them, right, or the bad feelings, like you're not going to be able to feel the good stuff either. So I think part of what we've been going through, or if we took the assignment, right, is allowing ourselves to go through, right? Not to bypass, not to like suppress or eat or drink or sex or porn, whatever it is, like, whew, if we dealt with it, but it creates more space. And that's why I think I've been able to like just sit and look at a tree for hours and like have like feel joy. I don't think I would have been able to do that if I hadn't dealt with all these like deeper crappy emotions, right? And just being able to be more present, right? Your presence creates, it sort of deepens and widens that container for feeling. And we've just been a culture that just has not wanted to feel anything. And that means we're missing out on the good stuff, right? And we have a culture, right? So again, between all the news and everything that like is just wants to crank up the bad. So we have to take that power back and do what we can to create that vessel, that presence, that space, to do joy, and know that, as things continue to get a little more dicey, a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more negative, a little bit more, because again, we're in this process, so let's not, it just is what it is. So like, don't be afraid of that, because it just is what it is. We need tools, right? I think we need to be able to have a toolkit of things that we can access and plug into when world's going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Let me just go sit and look at a flower because I know that gives me peace, that gives me joy, right? Let me put on this song because I know when I listen to this song, I can access my joy that way, right? Let me, go take a walk and like sit by the river and just look at the river and like access my joy that way. But what I was saying before is having those two anchors, you develop a muscle, right? You're priming a pump to be able to access that feeling quicker. Does that make sense? I'm a little all over the place, but if you're releasing the stuff so that you're creating more space, and then you're also working the muscle, right? The priming the pump to be able to access that space quicker. Then it's like you're arming yourself. You have a toolkit. You have ways to cope and deal as things, no matter what's happening outside. You can take care of yourself. And so yeah, so and to be also like, because one of the questions was how often do you experience joy? And I think you need to be just more conscious, like, okay, did I go through this whole week? Did I have any moments of joy? Right? Did I do anything fun? Did I do anything that gives me joy? And I wouldn't wait a whole week, right? I would go through every day and just be like, okay, what did I do today where I access my joy? And again, it's like, it's something that we have to be more conscious about, because the powers that be don't want us to do that, right? Don't want us to do that. So the more you can take responsibility for that, I think, we're all going to be better off. You're all going to be better off. We're all going to be better off.